The TT has now been with us for just over 20 years, and to celebrate, Audi have created a 20 years special edition. But before we get to that, let's take a look at where it all began. In 1995, Audi wowed the motoring industry at the Frankfurt Motor Show with the original TT concept, featuring over 60 years of German stylistic themes, yet remaining wholly modern in its conception. A further convertible featured at the Tokyo Motor Show of 1995, this time called the TTS, featuring baseball glove stitched leather interior and grey paintwork. Following such a rapturous reception, Audi swiftly put the TT into production in 1998. The original TT struck true to the aforementioned concepts, with its striking Bauhaus functional design language and incredible interior which pushed the boundaries of the time. The TT sent shockwaves through the industry and popular culture. Utilising the same platform as the Audi A3 allowed the TT to be relatively affordable and sales figures to boom. The Mark I TT was an instant success and would go on to be a design classic. In 2006, Audi followed up the iconic Mark I and launched the second generation TT, once again sharing the Audi A3 platform. However, this time losing some of the original car's purity of design and character, the second generation TT was to be a more accomplished package and remarkably lighter than the outgoing model. A modern selection of drivetrain options even included a diesel for the first time. And finally, 2014 saw the arrival of the third generation TT, once again based upon the latest Audi A3 platform. This time, however, utilising a hybrid steel and aluminium chassis with modern technology to once again lower the weight, something not often seen in car model ranges. This then leads us onto the car we're driving today, the 20 years special edition, signifying exactly that, 20 years of the Audi TT. Always marketed as a sports car, but often thought of as more of a stylish coupe, have the advancements led to a more purposeful sporting drive. So does the TT represent a more purposeful and sporting drive? The quick answer would be yes, but we'll expand on that as we go. For now, you know, the TT has come to this after just over 20 years now, and Audi have created this 20 years special anniversary edition to celebrate. So a quick rundown of what that actually means. A 999 worldwide, 150 coming to the UK, with 35 being the roadsters and 115 being the coupes like this. So one of the main features would be the arrow grey paint, which is unique to this car and harks back to the original design concepts from 1995, in particular the TTS model, which was a darker shade of grey. But you know, grey's becoming very much in vogue for this type of car, and for a lot of modern cars you'll see it throughout the Audi range. But it has to be said, it looks particularly special on this car, and it really does suit the sort of original Bauhaus designed, inspired design that the TT is all about, really. Other main features include this moccasin brown leather interior, which includes baseball glove inspired stitching, once again seen on the original concept cars. And it has to be said, you know, Audi have a reputation for building really nice, lovely interiors, and this is, you know, no exception. In fact, it's really rather special. The brown leather and the stitching really does add to the the quality, and it sort of makes it quite a special place to sit and to be. Obviously it's got the Audi virtual cockpit, so there's nothing on the instruments over here, it's all in the driver's eye. So, you know, once again denoting to how much more driver focused Audi are trying to gear their cars up to be, and the TT in particular, which was the car that started that feature off, the virtual cockpit. So there are numerous badges throughout to denote the special edition model and the build number of the 999 available. The exhausts have got unique tailpipes. The rear lights are Matrix OLED, which were only available on the RS model as an option. It has unique wheels, which are once again sort of harking back and inspired by the original design concepts. Mechanically, it's the latest 245 PS TFSI engine. It's got Quattro all-wheel drive and the latest 7-speed DSG gearbox. So that gives a quick rundown of this specific model, but what about the Mk3 TT in general? Well, the Mk3 is notably more aggressive and more sporting in its approach, and you get that from the minute you clap eyes on it. You know, they've massively sharpened up the design, from the way they've put the Audi badge on the bonnet, harking back to the R8 models, the way that deals with it. And you know, they're trying to give off this more sporty coupe approach and more focused experience. Has to be said, overall it is pretty successful. So yeah, they've sharpened it up, and the interesting thing about the TT is it's often cited as being a Golf chassis, but it's actually more of a platform that's shared. It's the MQB platform this time around, and that really means more component sharing than chassis, so to speak. So the majority of this chassis is actually unique, and it's the only MQB which employs a aluminium and steel hybrid chassis. So most of the chassis is actually aluminium, with only really the floor and lower parts being steel or ultra high strength steel. So what that means is the car's lighter than it's ever been before, and the lightest of the range actually only weighs 1,260 kilos, which is remarkable really for a modern car meeting all the latest sort of design and legislation regulations. This particular model is 1,360 kilos with the DSG gearbox and the Quattro all drive system. So the Haldex system is actually capable of sending 100% of the power to the rear wheels, but don't expect some kind of Focus RS with the drift mode. Its focus is very much still on safe, assured driving dynamics and point-to-point stuff. I mean, it definitely feels light on its feet. You can tell it's a light car by modern standards. The steering is ultra precise and ultra sharp. You know, you point it somewhere, it absolutely goes there with no drama or no fuss. But just don't, you know, as we've come to expect with most sort of modern electrical systems, don't expect a sort of deep conversation that you might have with a more analog setup. Performance-wise, it's actually, you know, really quite impressive, frankly, especially when you consider there are S and RS models sitting above this in terms of the power output. So 0 to 60 comes up in anywhere from 5 seconds to 5.3 seconds, depending on, you know, where you're reading your stats. But I mean, 5 seconds in the lower end of 5 seconds is pretty savage, really, when you consider, as I say, it's not the highest of the range anymore. So 5.3 seconds. I mean, this gives an idea of the type of drive available here. It's bags of torque, snappy changes, all-wheel drive system, you know, point-to-point stuff, all weather, all conditions. You know, put your foot down, and it just gets on with the business of hauling you down the road. No fuss. Absolutely. You know, it just makes progress so easy, so effortless, and that's what the TT is about. I mean, it's really quite impressive. I'd say you're not going to get the sort of deep conversation you might have with some cars with an older, more analog car, but it's point to point precision, and is absolutely nailing it, you know. Just as it opens up, we'll give you a quick demonstration. You put your foot down, and it just gets on with the job of bolting you down the road. It just hunkers down and off it goes. It's ridiculous, really. I mean, it's actually amazed. There we go. Yeah, it's so responsive as well. You know, you don't really notice any sort of turbo lag or anything like that with these modern cars. They're just so dialed in. So this is the TT we've come to expect over the years. Ultra usable, you know, incredibly well put together. The complete package. It might not be as thrilling as some, you know, other options on the marketplace, but it is the complete package that the TT absolutely nails, and the reason why it's been so successful over the years, being such a good ownership proposition. And perhaps that's the biggest story here, the fact that, you know, as we're led to believe, this could be the last TT that we ever see. This could be the last generation, and going forward from here, Audi might not have a place for it in their model range. And for me, the biggest story is the fact that, you know, after all these years, if that's the kind of shift in the market we're going to have, it's a worrying place for enthusiasts such as myself, because the TT really started and injected a lot of energy into this market of sports coupes. You know, perhaps we wouldn't have other cars such as the RX-8, the 350Z, the 370Z. You know, the TT was seen as sort of a marker point for rivals to look at, and in terms of, you know, success and sales. And it gave, as I say, in the early sort of 2000s, a big rise to this market. So it's been a fantastic memory to look back at the TT. As I say, whether or not you're a huge fan of the car or not, its position within the marketplace has been huge. It's had a massive impact, and it's reflected upon by all the other cars that have, you know, come out in this segment as well, and it's been such a lovely, vibrant segment of the marketplace. So for the TT to go, this will be a sad end, But what a way to finish it off. And so what began as a design study in 1995 has taken us on a journey through to today. The TT has definitely evolved over the years and adapted to meet the market of each era, sharpening up into the TT we see today. As ever, the TT really is an all-round usable sports coupe, offering everyday performance and all-weather capability. If this is the last in the line of Audi's iconic model, we don't just bid farewell to the TT, we say goodbye to an era where performance and sports-inspired vehicles can succeed in large numbers, and say hello to electric power and SUVs. And that is something difficult to say goodbye to.